Hello. Okay, today we are going to compare fractions that refer to the same whole and have the same numerator by comparing their denominators. So it's very similar to what we did in our last lesson. Okay, we're comparing fractions. We're going to see which one is greater, which one is less, or maybe if they are equivalent. They are all referring to the same whole. They have the same numerator. Remember, the numerator is the number on top, and we're comparing their denominators. The denominator is the number on the bottom. Okay, so the numerators will be the same, and the denominators will be different, which is the opposite of yesterday's lesson, which our numerators were different and our denominators are the same. Okay, so if two fractions have the same numerator, then the fraction with the greater denominator is less than the other fraction. That's a lot of words. Let's look at an example, okay? And again, I really like to think about food, right? Miss Black loves chocolate chip cookies, so she's going to think about chocolate chip cookies, okay? If it is a slice of your favorite food that has been cut into equal pieces, would you rather share it with more people or less people? So if I have one giant chocolate chip cookie and I can share it with 4 people, or I can share it with only one other person, which one would I rather have, right? I would rather share it with less people because I'm going to get more. The less people that I have to share it with, or the less parts that I have to break it into, I'm going to get more of it. So that makes me happy. I always want more of my favorite food, right? Let's look at this example. We have 3/4, right? 3 out of 4. 3 parts are blue out of 4 total parts. Now, on this side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3/8. So 3 parts are blue out of 8 total parts. Okay, we have to compare these two. Now, looking at the picture, we can definitely tell that if this was a giant chocolate chip cookie, right, would you rather have, or would Miss Black rather have, 3 out of 4 parts or 3 out of 8 parts? I would definitely rather have 3 out of 4 parts because it's greater. I want more of the chocolate chip cookie, right? So I'm going to eat. We can add in some teeth to help us remember that, like an alligator, I'm going to eat the greater fraction, right? That's a little sloppy, but 3/4 is greater than 3/8, okay? The smaller that the denominator is, the bigger our parts are going to be. So see, we have a smaller denominator. 4 is smaller, so the parts are bigger. 8 is larger, so our parts are smaller because you have to break that one cookie into a lot more pieces. Okay, let's try a couple more together. Okay, if you want to follow along with me on page 691, you can. It's the solve and share problem. Carrie and Alan had the same amount of vegetables to eat. Their whole is the same. Carrie ate 1/4 of her vegetables, and Alan ate 1/3 of his vegetables. Who ate more vegetables? So they're asking who ate more, right? Let's try to draw this problem out. They each have the same amount of vegetables. So we have 2 boxes that are the same size. Those are our wholes, right? They have the same amount of vegetables. Carrie ate 1/4. So I'm going to help myself draw it. I'm going to add in my fractions underneath so I can easily see them. We have 1/4 for Carrie and 1/3 for Alan. Notice their numerators are the same. Their denominators are different. Okay. So Carrie ate 1/4. So I'm going to divide her box into 4 equal parts. And remember, if I'm drawing 4 equal parts, I only have to draw 3 lines. So we have 4 equal parts. They're pretty equal, right? And I'm going to shade in 1/4 of them. Okay. Now, Alan ate 1/3. So he has 3 equal parts. I'm going to do my best. Divide this into 3 equal parts. And then I'm going to shade in 1/3 because he only ate 1/3 of his vegetables. Now we can go back to the question, which I squiggle underline, right, and said, who ate more vegetables? So looking at this, who ate more vegetables? Which fraction is greater? 1/4 or 1/3? Now we can see based on this fraction that based on our picture, that 1/3 is more. So I'm going to make an equality, right? 1/4 and 1/3. And we'll put the correct symbol in between. 1/4 is less than 1/3. So let's see, Alan, he definitely ate more. Right? If I were to write a complete sentence, I would write, Alan ate more vegetables, because that's answering the question. Okay? Remember, numerators are the same. You have to look at the denominators. The smaller the denominator, the larger the fraction. Okay, numerators are the same, denominators are different. We're going to look at the smaller denominator, and that's the larger fraction. That's why the inequality is facing this fraction, okay, because that's the greater fraction. All right, let's try it again. 2 scarves are the same size. See them? 1 scarf, 2 scarves. They're the same size. Okay? One scarf is 5/6 orange, and the other scarf is 5/8 orange. Which is less? 5/6 or 5/8? 5/6 or 5/8? We need to compare these two fractions. What inequality would go in between? Okay, I notice that our numerators are the same, but our denominators are different. Okay, so we are going to look at the denominator that is smaller. Which denominator is smaller, 6 or 8? 6 is smaller, so 5/6 is greater than 5/8. Now let's show it with a picture. Let's explain this. Okay, so this scarf was broken up into 6 equal pieces. They already divided it. They already have a picture, so let's kind of add to this picture, right? That's half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of it is orange. Okay, and then on this scarf, it says 5/6 of this scarf is orange. Nope, not 5/6. 5/8 of this scarf is orange. So these parts are a little bit smaller. So I'm going to divide this into 8, which is probably going to be a little bit harder to see. So I'm going to do it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 equal parts. So notice 5/8 of these are orange and 5/6 of these are orange. We can see that this part of the orange scarf is much bigger than this part of the orange scarf, even though the numerators are the same. This is because this scarf was broken up into so many more parts, right? So when it's broken up into more parts, each part is going to be a little bit smaller. Every time you break something into one extra equal part, the parts get smaller, right? So 5/6 and 5/8, these parts, each one of these is a lot bigger than each one of these, which makes this fraction greater. Okay, so now let's take a look at this last problem. Julia says that let me get a better color. Julia says that 1/8 is greater than 1/4 because 8 is greater than 4. Okay, is she correct? Explain. Let's take a look at this. 1/8 is greater than 4. She thinks that 1/8 is greater than 4. Do we agree? The numerators are the same, right? They're both 1, But then we come over here at the denominators and we know 8 is greater than 4. So Julia says because 8 is greater than 4, this fraction must be greater. If I were to draw a model, I don't really like these colors. Let's draw a fraction to help us. Okay, so here we have two fractions. We're going to show 1/8 on one and a fourth on the other. I'm going to break this one up into fourths. This is easy. I'm going to draw 3 lines. Now this one I'm going to break it up into eighths. I don't know what I think. Try my best. Now just take a quick look. Look at the size of all of these pieces. They're a lot smaller than the sizes of these pieces because we took the same hole, the same big blue rectangle, and we broke it up into only 4 pieces here and 8 pieces here. So you can see that the pieces are a lot smaller. So even though our numerators are the same, which is only 1, we're only looking at 1 piece, right? This 1 piece is a lot bigger than this 1 piece. So this is 1/4. And this is 1/8. 1/4 is much bigger than 1/8. Okay? The smaller the denominator, the greater the fraction. So is Julia correct? No, she's definitely not correct. Even though 8 is greater than 4, that is a smaller fraction. When our numerators are the same, the larger fraction is really the smaller the denominator. Okay, so now you know how to compare fractions when the numerators are the same. Remember, the smaller the denominator, the larger the pieces. Okay, that'll definitely help you. Think about food. Would you rather share something with a lot of people or only a few people, right? That's going to give you the larger denominator. The less people that you have to share it with, the greater the pieces are. Okay, the more that you're going to get. All right, head on to Pearson and complete your work.